Hello, hello, and welcome to Monday night meditation reflection. And today I was thinking, well, what topic shall I do today? And one of the things that always, I think, when I've worked with people one to one, or if they've done courses with me, the most powerful that they come back to is the inner child work. So we're going to look at our little inner child today. Um, but before I launch in, just arrive in the space. If it's a place where you're not disturbed, perfect. Just maybe take 3 slow, deep breaths. And just start arriving, body, this space. As always, we're going to start. We've got some different ones today. These are Diane Cooper Angel Cards. I didn't realise that she was a local lady. So I'm going to pull us one of these and just see what comes up for you. And I've got to mention as well that it's Leo full moon was yesterday, and it was also Imbolc, which is the 1st of February. So we're now midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So that light is returning. But it's still not time for us to go and do all the action. This is like a stretch out of winter. So hopefully that kind of Cancer full moon that kicked off the year gave us some idea of what we wanted to take forward. The the Capricorn new moon helped us get some focus. And this Leo full moon is all about uh, the fire, the very heart led, huge heart, very I am, I am going to. So very, very powerful energy. So the one that I have just pulled is synchronicity. There is no such thing as chance in our incredible universe. The coincidences and synchronicities are carefully orchestrated by your guides and angels, so recognize them as the hand of spirit. Rejoice when you notice them, for they are the angels' messages to you that you are on your right path. Start to expect them and look for them. Be aware that there is a divine reason behind them and consider what the message or lesson is. Synchronicity is also a reminder that that all things happen in divine timing. And I think, again, looking toward nature, it doesn't rush, and you just seeing like those buds on the trees and the first shoots coming up of the bulbs from last year. We can't rush a lot of things. And if you are thinking like, how do I know? How do I know? Where are the signs? You can do things like show me a red car, like on like today, if this is the right decision on my way to work, I want to see 4 red cars or more. Things like that to connect in, and check out Gabby Bernstein if you haven't already. She does amazing like co-creation, calling in guides, manifestation work as well. Um, so we are um with our topic today. I have lost those notes. I thought I'd got them, but these are not that. Um, can I can wing it, it's fine. So you're in a child. This work is the most simple yet powerful. It's not simple, it goes to lots of depths, but just the concept of your inner child is this is the first experiences. So if you have anything that comes to mind, something that you struggle with right now, whether it's putting yourself out there or trust or feeling embarrassed, shame, guilt, your inner child, which is still within you, has got the power to transform those wounds. So the wounds will still be in there if you haven't done this work. Um, you might feel like when your inner child comes out to play. So there's lots of wonderful ways in which we can connect, which I'll come on to later. But if you can think back to any issue that you might be having right now, or a trait that you're like, I don't know why I'm like that. It might be jealousy, it might be any of the things that I've mentioned. Just try and think back now, and this is like a little journaling of when was the first time, do you recall feeling that way? Um, yeah, just thinking about, if it was a feeling of guilt or being in trouble. When was the first time you felt in trouble? I still have it like, when you see official and like authority, I have like I don't feel safe. Like I'm not almost like I've done something wrong. I've never done anything wrong. And I know I've heard so many people like say, "Oh, me too," especially going through airport security. Where's that come from? Thinking about first time you did something wrong or you let someone down, and how that felt. So just getting curious into first experiences, because what we can do is go back to reparent, kind of change the way in which we respond to that. So just jot down anything that it could be communication, it could be feeling not enough, feeling too much. Just thinking about those first times that you might have felt that. Because these childhood first experiences that feel like wounds, which often are what we carry, they're they're often the part of us that is responsible for blockages, that is preventing us. And 2026, like astrologically speaking, if you follow any astrologer, they're like, oh my God, this is going to be the life-changing year. And on the 17th of this month, we come out of um, the year of the snake. So all that shedding, and we are entering the year of the fire horse, which we're going to have to hold on pretty tight. And so now is a lovely, so we're still in that end bit of shedding. And a lot of people I've spoke to are like, what is going on? And all I can say is this is the dark before the dawn. It's going to get better. Um there's but things are being shown to us. Things are like, I can't do this anymore. I can't hold on to that anymore. So you might be feeling an energetic clearance. You might want to physically clear the home. That'd be a really good thing to do in the next week or so, but certainly before the 17th of February. And this is why I wanted to loop in inner child work, because we can think about, what am I carrying? What am I carrying that it just doesn't serve me anymore? Like I just want to put it down. Um, I think of it like taking a rock out of your backpack, or just taking it off. Like, that it's creating some problem, and yet you still do it. So it could be little you that's still holding on to that. Um, so just thinking about like really connecting in now to little you, of thinking about how old she is. It's no right or wrong. When I do this work with people and when I've done this work myself, my inner child that I went back to straight away was like 9, 10, kind of before high school. But, for some people, it's their first memory, like 3, 4. So just obviously, we have the whole of childhood. We haven't got that long, so we're just going to pick like, if you have thought of like, yeah, that's the first time that I felt not seen, not heard, or whatever it was, just don't worry if you get it wrong either. This isn't about, it being factually correct. Just think, actually, what age was I about then? So how old is your inner child right now? And kind of what do they look like? You know, and sometimes photographs can really help with this. Um, and just imagine them really arriving in this space. So they're just going to take a seat right next to you for this session. And what emotion are they holding? Emotions there. 'Cause our inner child is the most deeply sensitive part of us. So when we get triggered by something, it's often like our inner child that will, you know, it's that sensitivity. If you're a parent, you might have experienced it at ages that your children are. So different, like old bruises surface, like whatever age they're at. It can be really profound. If you struggled in teenage years and then suddenly you've got a teenager, and it's really good to do this work for them as well, so that you're thinking, actually, is that my response from me? And it's not their experience. Because we can often put like our adult understanding and emotional overlay of what they're going through, so if you child isn't invited out on a little social, what does that do to you? Because we've got protective mother archetype, but we've also got our really sensitive part. And if we hadn't been invited out as children, we will be reacting and coming from that emotional overlay, as opposed to what they might be experiencing, which is probably totally different. So whenever you're triggered over the next week, think, God, where's this coming from? Like, where have I felt it before? When was the first time I felt it? And then we really want to tune into like what does she need from you? What does your inner child need from you? And I know I've touched on this before about like showing up for ourselves, and we always go, oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do some yoga, and it's like saying to a child, yeah, we'll go to the park later. We'll go. Oh, no, we didn't go. It's the self, it's the most sensitive part of ourself. So difficulties at work, relationships, setting boundaries, this can be a really good unlocking point of little you, what you needed. Um, and drawings are perfect as well. So, if you can really go back into what you enjoyed at that age, and what did you, so now I've got some prompts around what you needed as a child that you didn't have consistently. Is there anything that you think, I didn't have that? Don't know if you can hear the dog. Sorry if you can. But a really powerful one is, how did I learn to protect myself? Like, how did you learn that? We all learned it, whether, best childhood ever, worst childhood ever. We're all on this spectrum, but how did you first learn to protect yourself or to fit in? It's our survival. When we are children, we will choose attachment over authenticity. If we did not do that, we wouldn't have survived. So we would go into a situation and maybe read the room and be like, oh, yeah, this is what I need to do. And I hear so many women beating themselves up over it, around like, um, being a people pleaser, or the good girl syndrome, that's really popular at the moment, that title. Um, and and it is about that was survival. And we continue that. So we learn it in childhood and then we continue it. So whoever we're around, like I was the biggest chameleon going. People would think, oh, she gets on with everybody. I could like, I could get jobs and, you know, get into a social situation because I could like read the room and be like, well, I think I know what that person wants me to say. I got so conditioned into doing it, I didn't know what I wanted to say anymore. I was just so, and I wasn't consciously aware of any of this. It's only doing this work that it's become so apparent that I'd be like, oh, I think I know what that person wants me to say. So I'll say that because it keeps it easier, right? Until the point where you've totally lost yourself in the whole process and what you're saying isn't aligned to what you need. And when we have lost our sense of self, it can sometimes be easier to connect to little us and be like, what do you need? Especially if we've got any kind of association of taking time for ourselves as being selfish or haven't really got time. You're showing up for little you. Um, and this is what's really good when working with parents, because they have that deep compassion for children, and maybe not for themselves. So you can really kind of harness that in. Um, and then just thinking about that self-soothing. So if you think about like, I remember when I had like a therapy session on this, and it just came to like when you felt safe as a child as well. Like, when were the moments and who were those people around you that made you feel safe? I'm vegetarian, and I had this like therapy session, and it was my nan and corned beef sandwiches with brown sauce on white bread. And like, so I was like getting used to this kind of, okay, what would little me need? And I'd had an awful day, and I was like, she needs a corned beef sandwich with brown sauce and white bread. And that's what I had. So even thinking about the foods, it's that, and self-soothing. So if you've got something from childhood, the object relativity of, kind of playing with labels, or, rocking is a great one. And actually doing this to soothe the nervous system in the morning when the kettle's boiling, or just shifting your weight from the left to the right is a really, really soothing thing to do. And then really connecting in on a more playful, expressive way, which again, if you've got, and I really miss this now, of like, I don't go on the swings because the girls are older. I don't take them to the park. And even though, at the time you don't really recognise it, but then it's those little fun things, or Christmas that's, not that far gone. I was like, oh, I'm doing all these traditions and realised they're not for the children anymore. And so having small children, hanging out with, if you've got any friends or nieces or nephews or children that you can, they see things for the first time, that excitement, that energy, drawing with crayons, getting your Play-Doh out. And what I'd really encourage you to do is to write a letter to little you. Um, so yeah, write a letter to you at whatever age. So if you haven't managed to identify a current issue that you struggle with, and you can recall when you first experienced that, and then if you can write a letter and say, I know that when, you know, I that when you were this age and this happened, that what you needed in that moment was to be told everything was going to be okay. You should have had that hug. You didn't have that hug, but I'm here for you now. So it's a reparenting. So that's what, and asking like what makes you feel safe and happy, because I can guarantee like what makes little you feel safe and happy can often translate. When I ask adults in the therapy room, what do you need? Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I get, I don't know, got no idea. Okay. And as we've mentioned before, those basics like, are you hungry? Are you tired? Do you need a drink of water? Like you would a child. Thinking about consistency through routine. Um, Routine makes children feel safe. Um, as like as an adult, I think, oh no, I don't really like routine, but I really, really struggle when I haven't got it. So thinking about a little routine you could do, and what you want more of, what you want less of. But essentially when you start connecting with little you, bring her into everything. Like, so especially when you're emotionally activated, so when you are feeling, those high end emotions of rage, or you want to cry, just think like, okay, what do I need? What does she need? Bring her in, like sit her on your lap, stroke her hair. Um, because that will be a self-soothing for you as well. So yeah, it's a really good way to just identify. It can feel really odd to begin with. Um, but I promise you it does it does let so much release go as well, because it allows us to pull out of a victim mentality of like, oh, of just knowing where it was, and just having that, like, I see you, I hear you, and even like the best parents in the world, if you like 70s 80s babies, you weren't like, you fitted in. We absolutely fitted in to like, and it's not abusive. It's just what parenting was in that generation. So even when people say they've had the best childhood ever, there is still little us somewhere that's holding some wounding, and they just want to be seen and they want to be heard. And if you have trouble being authentic, or that there's that thing, isn't there? If you could invite everyone into a room, who would you invite? Um, and who would you be in that room with all those people? Because we have our different roles, we have our different parts. Um, but there should be, there's some common thread um, through it all. And who do you feel most like, oh yeah, that's who I feel myself with? Um, so it's really about how the inner child is showing up for you today. Because if you don't feel safe or you didn't feel safe, often that shows up in adults of like not trusting in relationships. If there was a lack of safety, if there was a parent that, wasn't around, there's attachment issues, it can all come back, but it can all be healed with the reparenting as well. Um, and if there's any like, that kind of forgiveness as well is a big one. So if you've got feelings of the first time that you felt ashamed or you let someone down or anything like that, really like have some forgiveness. It's all right, you were little. You didn't know any better. Like, if you got blamed for, I don't know, throwing a chalk rubber thing at the teacher, and then that led into standing up in assembly and being humiliated. Like, people carry that. People carry that, and it will show up as like everything is my fault. And we can pinpoint it. And if you have had like quite a critical parent, then this work will need to go deeper. But just that general awareness, that forgiveness, you were just a child, just a small child. Um, to let go of any like, if you're still holding on to any shame or guilt or anything that you did wrong, you'd be surprised what I hear people say. Like I lied to get a part in a play when I was 8, and I've still thought about, how I stole it from Jenny, who should have been Mary. Like these things, these little blockages are what with the foundations that we've built our worth on. Um, so yeah. So that is in a child in a very, very small nutshell. Journaling's great. Um, and really thinking about what was she taught to believe? Was she told like, oh, you're not very good at this, you're not very good at that, or you're great at this, this is what you're going to be? How did that shape your future? And how is it still limiting some self-beliefs now? It's so damaging, for example, to say to a child like, oh, you're like not academic. They can carry that right forever, and that will be like, because we form it, um we're like a piece of clay. You've got to work it, you've got to mold it, you've got to warm it up, and that's what all of our, like, especially 9 years and below, those first 9 years, the adults are telling us who we are. The teachers, we hear, oh, she's like a sponge. Oh, she's really quiet. Oh, she's laid back. Oh, she's a bit loud. Oh, she's a bit disruptive. That then forms the wider, and like family, and so you get to a sense of even like of who you are. It's not come from you. It's not that soul level stuff. It's what we've been told. Um, so yeah, really working with the inner child can help you really connect to that soul level stuff as well. So we're going to do a little meditation now. Um, and yeah, so we're going to try and connect in with that inner child. Um, so if you want to get yourself comfortable, whether you want to lie down or sit comfortably, it's totally up to you. Just start by taking a longer inhale through the nose. If you're bunged up like a lot of people are right now in January, you can breathe in and out through your mouth. And as you just start slowing in to that breath, just notice where that breath's coming from. Is it high up in the chest? Is it around the shoulders? Just see if you can send it a little bit deeper into the belly, feeling that belly soften and rise. Just slowly imagine a warm, protective light surrounding you. And in this moment, you are safe. Just really settling in, using the breath as an anchor. So if the mind goes off, or you start to feel uncomfortable, or you're having any images, just bring it back to the breath. If you haven't closed your eyes already, just allow the eyelids to fall. Just going to imagine a place when you were a child where you felt calm or loved. And if you can't remember a place, you can imagine, use your imagination. So just visualize that safe place where you felt calm, where you felt loved, and just notice the colours. Colours are around you. You might be wearing and what colour clothes are. What's the temperature like? What season are you in? And what smells? This is your inner child's safe space. So just staying in the environment now, that place that you are, in that picture in your mind. And then we're going to meet little you. So just visualize your inner child walking towards you. So pleased to see you. And just be curious what age they are. Look into their eyes. Just sit beside them. Or allow them to sit beside you at eye level. Just ask gently, how are you feeling? Try not to judge. Find an explanation for what answer comes up. Simply ask how. How are you feeling? And then, what do you need from me? Allow the responses to come. It might be a sensation or an image. And just ask, what are you afraid of? sit beside, you might want to place your hands over your heart. Just imagine sending lots of love and warmth to your inner child. Just say to them, I'm listening now. I'm here with you now. Assure them that you didn't do anything wrong. Tell them that their feelings matter. Most importantly, tell them, I will protect you. Visualize hugging them or holding their hand. Just imagine that inner child now merging gently into your heart, feeling their presence within you. They are part of you, still carrying the wounds, blockages that we can set free with the love and protection. As we move forward, every morning, just find quiet space for the next week or so, just to keep this connection and this thread, and just ask, how are you feeling today? Choose the emotion, not the story. And set that intention, asking what they need. Just connecting in. You may want to get a photo of little you. Place it on the bathroom mirror or the fridge. And also remembering all those things that she would like to do. Those dreams. Those hopes. Free from adult fear-based thinking. This can be a two-way nurturing relationship as you guide each other, as you offer protection and safety, but also turn to them for answers to what they do, what would they say if they could see the situation with fresh eyes. So just take 3 deep breaths here and just embody inner child within you. Stay here for the next couple of minutes. Voice again. Just gently start to notice any sounds, feeling into the surface beneath you. Back to the present. You may want to wiggle your fingers, toes. Take a little stretch, or you may want to stay where you are. Drop off the call and just enjoy this time. Connecting. Remember the joy. Remember the playfulness. Remember the moments of excitement. Try and move through your day tomorrow as if it was first time. Bringing that childlike energy with you. And I'd encourage you to dance, to colour, to doodle, to watch something comforting, maybe a film, your favourite childhood film. Read a book. Eat your favourite food for that time. And always remember to say to yourself, to say to your inner child, I'm proud of you. And thank you for today. So we can start as we think of a bedtime routine, just connecting in. If it does stir anything for you that you wish to talk about or to share, I honestly urge you just to get in touch, to not hold it, don't sit with it trapped inside. Just speak it out loud, move through, and enjoy connecting for the next 7 days and beyond with little you.